Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all could be with us. Also tuning in worldwide, thanks to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. This is part of our News You Can Use segment here, and we actually talked about this at the beginning of the school year, and that is the unprecedented teacher shortage that we're seeing literally across our state here in Mississippi, but also across the country as well. This is something that really has put, I think, the schools in crisis, and it has some questions that I think all of us need to look at, and that is not only the impact it's going to have on our students, but also the community and the economy. We're here to help us talk more about that. We're excited to welcome Nicola Soares to our program. Nicola is the president of Kelly Education. We're going to talk to her not only about the state of education in the country, but also what can be done to help support educators today and where you all can get more information. Nicola, really appreciate the time you're spending with us today. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Cyrus, thank you for having me.
So this is an important topic, as I mentioned, Nicola. We talked about this at the beginning of the school year here in Mississippi. We had individuals come on and talk about what is happening. So from what you've been able to see, especially with the recent survey, what is the current state of education in the country right now?
Yeah, so it's such an important question, and I would basically characterize the current state as a national crisis. And not only are we experiencing a talent shortage in terms of our classroom teachers, but really many positions that support school districts or schools today. One of the fastest turnover positions that we see are like building principals and, of course, our teachers. And so that's really alarming because when we think about what the long tail effect of that is, it definitely will have an impact on workforce. And in fact, we just launched a major research body of work, and that was surveying over 2,000 business leaders across the country. And in fact, those business leaders hold positions like CEOs, CHROs, CFOs, mid-manager level positions. We wanted to gain their thoughts and their concerns over this teacher shortage, but also potentially what could be solutions around that. What was interesting was right out of the gate, 91% of them said that if we don't solve the teacher shortage and if we have a lack of great qualified teachers into the classroom, that in about 5 years, we're going to have a workforce that's going to be unprepared to support business. So to me, that was alarming. And I would share that with the audience because it really is a call to action.
It is, and I think a lot of times, Nicola, and I was thinking about it when I was prepping for your segment, I don't think we normally think about the connection. We should think about the connection between our education and, of course, the students that are coming out and the jobs that they will do or won't do. But do you think now that the time that we're in is making people rethink how they, one, look at the importance of the work that teachers do, but also the impact on the community and the economy?
Yeah, I do. And, I think people are suddenly realizing now, with the alarm bells that are going on, essentially what those factors are contributing for teachers not feeling valued or leaving the profession. And when you think about it, there's some very unique things that are happening in education. Burnout is huge with teachers right now. Teacher salaries are nowhere near comparable to their industry counterparts. And contributing to that, in terms of a total cost of education to become a teacher, many of our teacher candidates have to have college loans in order to support that tuition. And here's what I want to share with our audience. When you think about an average salary of a teacher, in some states coming out of college, about $35,000, many of our teachers on the national average have about $58,000 worth of debt. But 1 out of 7 teachers owe $105,000. That is almost impossible to pay over a lifetime having a mortgage, pursuing the American dream, if you will. Teachers don't feel safe in schools. And when we think about what that means, with active school shootings, where else do you have that in a workplace? And then, of course, what's contributing also is that now, we don't see incoming undergraduates pursuing education, not like how they used to, early in 2000s where about 10% of incoming freshmen were pursuing education degrees. Fast forward today, we've seen a sharp decline by 35%.
And that's why, again, this conversation is so important, Nicola, which is why we're glad to have you on. So you mentioned the business community. What can the business community do, Nicola, to help drive change and help to close the gap that we're seeing when it comes to the teacher shortage?
Yeah, so, when we surveyed our business leaders, it was really interesting to see what their thoughts were on solutions. So just to kind of give you some highlights of the full research report, things like advocating for policy changes, like increasing teacher pay and benefits. And particularly, they felt strongly that for those candidates that are running for elected office, to add it to their agendas, add it to their platforms, and really that the public needs to push on that front. Also creating accessible alternative pathways, for current people who are in different professions who might want to try education to be able to do that a little bit more seamlessly. I'll give you an example of that. We see a lot of healthcare professionals raising their hands to be substitute teachers because it's a great opportunity to be able to try the profession. So where they were burned out, probably post-pandemic, they're still very purpose-driven professionals. They still want to help people. What better way to do that into the classroom? And when you think about their degrees that tend to be in the STEM areas, it's a great transfer to be able to teach STEM disciplines. Improving school safety, the condition around that, increasing mental health services and wellness programs, not just for students, but also for our teachers. Also considering a national subsidy around teacher tuition. Maybe, you get an allotment, but you have a commitment of service. And then last but not least, I thought this was interesting too. Very similar to what we do with senior citizens and our veterans, to be able to offer, discounts with retailers or businesses and services that are just, things that help our teachers to have more affordable access into things. But also subsidies around housing. For many of our teachers who are teaching in big city metro areas, the cost of housing is almost impossible, and many of our teachers work second and third jobs just to afford their living.
It's an important conversation, Nicola, which is why we're glad to have you on to talk about this and of course, the importance for all of us. Where can our audience go for more information?
Yeah, so for anybody that would like to receive the full download of the research report, they can go to educationworkforceinsights.com. It's its own website, again, educationworkforceinsights.com.
All right, and we'll make sure that we post that as well. Nicola, thank you so much for the great work you all are doing with the Kelly Education, but also for this conversation. We look forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you for having me, Cyrus. Take care.
Hey, you as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.